Her hands were on my arms before I even fully stumbled. Steady, warm, annoyingly gentle in the way only she can be.
"I've got you,"
she whispered, looking into my eyes, and I swear my chest did something stupid. And that's how I knew I was in trouble. The kind of trouble I've been avoiding for years. I shouldn't want this, but I do.
In today's video, after a night of drinks and half-hidden truths, she stumbles through her friend's door. The friend who has always been a safe place, but never allowed to be anything more, at least not out loud. Between breathy laughter, gentle care, and a piece of slightly crushed cake, the alcohol dissolves the barriers that kept her feelings locked away for so long. What starts as a clumsy attempt to help a drunk girl becomes something bigger, a moment where glances linger too long, soft touches last a little longer than they should, and old secrets begin to slip out. In a bedroom lit by half-light, with whispered confessions and hesitation thick with longing, the two of them face the truth they've always been afraid to admit. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button, shall we?
Not that I planned any of it. God, no. But when I felt myself tipping forward in her hallway, when the whole apartment tilted with me like some cheap carnival ride, I knew something was going to break open inside me. Maybe my dignity. Maybe my heart. Hard to tell the difference when you're warm with a few drinks and pretending you're fine. But she caught me. Her hands were on my arms before I even fully stumbled. Steady, warm, annoyingly gentle in the way only she can be.
"I've got you,"
she whispered, looking into my eyes, and I swear my chest did something stupid. And that's how I knew I was in trouble. The kind of trouble I've been avoiding for years. I shouldn't want this, but I do. I followed her into the bedroom, still unsteady, still warm all over. I was scanning the room and the way she moved around the space. Quiet, focused, almost too gentle. Her room looked softer in the half-light than I expected. Warm, lived in, like a place built for quiet confessions. As she guided me toward the bed, I let out a shaky breath and muttered, almost to myself, "Honestly, maybe I am helpless." She helped me sit, and I collapsed onto the edge of her mattress, laughing weakly at how clumsy I was.
"Oh my God,"
she said, holding back a smile, which made me smile too.
"God, you are helpless."
No, don't act like I'm helpless, Jess. She lowered her head with a teasing smile, that light tone she uses when she knows she's getting to me, and said right into my face with a big smile,
"But you are helpless, baby."
I groaned, embarrassed, staring at my hands. "I'm aware. Thanks for the update." "Anytime." She gave me a little wink while start to smirk. And inside of my chest, my heart was thudding so hard I could hear it in my ears. My mind started to repeat, I shouldn't want this. I keep telling myself that. And it keeps not working. She crossed the room, grabbed a glass of water, and returned to me with that quiet, steady energy that makes me feel seen in ways I shouldn't enjoy. When she handed it to me and our fingers touched, I felt like a shiver. Drink. I stared at the glass like it held answers. My voice came out soft when she hands me the glass of water. It wasn't even a full sentence, just a thought slipping out. She sat by my side, tapped the rim gently, and repeated herself.
I said drink.
I obeyed without thinking, lifting it to my lips, and then she whispered, barely a breath, unintentionally intimate. Good girl. I choked immediately, spilling water, coughing hard, and mortified by my own reaction. Oh my God. She burst into laughter, amused and flustered. I didn't mean it like that. I could feel my cheeks burning while I shook my head so fast I nearly fell sideways. No, it's fine. Totally fine. Everything is fine. Super normal. Very casual. Inside, I was screaming at myself. God, I'm pathetic. A few moments later, she appeared in front of me with a small fork and a piece of chocolate cake, smiling with that infuriating sweetness that made my stomach flip. She held the fork near my lips.
Open your mouth.
I laughed nervously, pulling back just a little. You're not seriously gonna...
Her smile sharpened.
Teasing but firm.
Please, babe, open your mouth.
She said it playfully, holding the fork as if she were about to imitate a little airplane for a baby, which made me join the joke by closing my mouth, furrowing my brows, and shaking my head no. She laughed softly, extended the fork for me to hold, and apologized for the joke, looking away in embarrassment.
It's okay. I was just being silly with you. My bad.
Without saying a word, I moved forward, but didn't take the fork. I just obeyed, slowly, quietly, desperate not to let things suddenly turn awkward between us. The chocolate hit my tongue, and something broke in my voice. It's delicious. It seemed to work. The mood between us became comfortable again. I was almost finishing the slice of cake when she reached out and wiped a stray smear from my lip. The moment she touched my lips, I froze. I closed my eyes briefly. My mind was screaming, I shouldn't want this. I shouldn't want this. I shouldn't want this. I shouldn't want this. She must have stayed there, staring at me, watching my reaction. Because when I opened my eyes again, the first thing I saw were hers, curious eyes. The silence grew heavy, thick enough to breathe in. Without breaking eye contact, she lifted her thumb to her own mouth. We both pretended we didn't notice what was going on, but we did know. We kept talking, and eventually, I leaned back on her bed, sinking into her pillows, and everything slipped out before I could stop it. I'm happy and a little drunk and maybe nervous. She tilted her head, teasing lightly.
Nervous? For what?
I didn't answer that question, suddenly feeling sober from my own actions.
Zoey, nervous for what?
She leaned back on the bed with me, lying by my side, her face turned toward mine, her eyes searching for my eyes as she whispered gently.
Are you nervous because of me?
I stared at the ceiling, then at her, then back at the ceiling again. No, not you. I mean, kind of. Maybe yes. She shifted on the bed, propping herself up on one arm while reaching toward my face, gently turning me toward her. The touch made me close my eyes again and take a deep breath. She touched my cheek so softly it felt unreal. A groan escaped me as I buried my face in my hands. I hate alcohol. It makes me too honest. Her voice dropped, lower, more serious, almost vulnerable.
Honest about what?
I couldn't answer. I could barely breathe. I was about to ruin the friendship. Forget what I said.
I don't want to forget it.
Her breath tickled my face, and that was the moment I realized she was close. Too close? I was too warm. And everything was too much. She leaned closer. Her voice was shaking.
Have you ever been in love?
I swallowed hard. I think so. The truth slipped out slowly.
Why, you never told me that.
Because I'm scared all the time. I'm scared. Scared of,
Tell me?
scared of being too much, Justine. She shook her head gently.
You're not too much.
Something broke inside me then, quietly, painfully.
Her voice softened even more.
Then tell me. I stared at the ceiling because looking at her was too dangerous. I keep staring at the ceiling, choosing my words carefully in my mind, playing with my fingers, breath heavy, heart racing. I was too nervous. She probably realized and held my hand, crossing our fingers and keep them intertwined in silence, waiting for me. I had a crush once. She breathed in carefully. A guy. Ew, I said while playfully pushing her. She smiled in a shy way.
Okay, I didn't know that you also, we never talk about your love life. I thought,
Yeah, I know.
Okay, keep going. It's not a boy then?
Who? I laughed weakly, avoiding her eyes.
Who?
I'm not telling you. She nudged closer, her body pressing mine, gentle but insistent.
Why not?
My voice grew small, vulnerable. Because it was someone I shouldn't want, someone I cannot risk losing. Her next question knocked the air out of the room. Someone who's here right now? I couldn't even answer. I just went silent. Then, in a trembling voice, she whispered, "Look at me." I did, and she was looking at me differently. She spoke quietly, almost pleading. Was it me? I couldn't breathe. The room felt too quiet, too soft, like it was holding its breath with me. My chest tightened, not painfully, but in that terrifying way that comes only when a truth has been waiting too long to be spoken. She was right there in front of me, my best friend, the girl who always made the world feel a little less sharp. And she looked at me like she could see straight through the pieces I'd been hiding behind. She was waiting for me, not demanding, not pushing, just waiting. My heartbeat was so loud, it felt like it echoed between us. She tilted her head, soft and fragile, as if she already knew, as if she'd always known. She was just waiting the whole time. My lips parted, but no sound came. I felt my whole body trembling with the weight of it. The truth pressed against my throat, aching to be freed. When I finally spoke, it wasn't a declaration. It wasn't brave or confident or anything love stories pretend it should be. It was a breath, a surrender, a tiny, shaking confession. Yes, the word left me like a secret collapsing into the open. Quiet, terrified, undeniably real. And in that moment, her expression changed. Not dramatically, not wildly, just enough. Her breath caught, Her eyes softened. Her lips parted in a small, stunned inhale. Like my yes had touched some place inside her she'd been too scared to acknowledge. I realized then that I wasn't just confessing. I was letting myself fall. And she was there, standing close enough to catch me. For a moment, everything was still. Not quiet, still. Like the world was holding its breath around the two of us. She exhaled first, a soft disbelief escaping her lips in the shape of a laugh. Not mocking, not cruel, just stunned. Her smile trembled as she whispered,
"Oh my God, you liked me?"
Her voice lowered into something so soft it almost broke me. When I finally met her eyes, they were warm, nervous, hopeful. And then, barely above a whisper, almost as if she was afraid the words might shatter once spoken, she confessed,
"Because I had a crush on you too."
The room tilted, lightly, beautifully, as if reality itself was reshaping around those words, around us. Her voice dropped to a whisper so delicate it felt like it was meant only for my bones. I held her gaze, clear, grounded, far too awake. Her eyes were fixed on my lips as she leaned in, closing her own eyes just before gently resting her forehead against mine. Slowly, she brushed her nose against mine in soft, feather-light movements. Our lips were almost touching, our breaths uneven and shared. Then she whispered, dangerously soft, impossibly hopeful.
"Can I kiss you?"
Something flickered in me, something bright, something that answered her without words. My body reacted before my voice could. I nodded, eyes still closed, and the moment our lips finally met, collapsing into each other, the world, once still, finally began to move again.
Hi love, it's Leela. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Now, let's get back to our girls.
Our lips met for the first time with a softness that felt almost unreal. Her lips were warm, tender, almost hesitant, like she wanted to memorize the shape of mine before truly kissing me. For a few long seconds, we stayed like that, just touching, breathing each other in. Then she began to move her lips, slow and savoring, as if every small motion was something she'd been dreaming of for years. I didn't hesitate when her tongue brushed gently against my upper lip, asking for permission with the lightest, sweetest request. I sighed against her mouth and welcomed her in, my whole body responding before I could think. We leaned closer, shared breath, shared warmth, shared want. Then she whispered in a rusk, voice trembling like a confession finally freed.
"I've wanted this for so long."
Her words sent a shiver straight through me, tightening my grip on her waist as I pulled her even closer. She lowered one hand to where mine rested against her body, threading our fingers together and squeezing firmly when I drew her into another kiss, this one deeper, more certain, more us. Air no longer felt essential, not in that moment. In that moment, she was the only thing I needed. When our kiss finally broke, Justine pulled back just enough to smile, breathless and glowing.
You're going to be the end of me.
I laughed, soft, tired, unbelievably happy. I'm sorry. She shook her head slowly, brushing her nose against mine.
Don't apologize. Just stay with me tonight.
My eyes widened at the request, a new kind of tension blooming across my skin. I could feel my cheeks heating, and Justine noticed immediately. She rushed to explain, laughing as she cupped my face.
Not like that, babe.
She peppered my cheeks with tiny kisses, one for each word.
Stay, moi, with, moi, me, closer.
Clothed. She lowered her mouth to my neck and nipped playfully at my skin, pulling a surprised gasp from me and a delighted laugh from her.
The clothed part is optional.
She teased. I can do that. She stroked my hair, settling back onto the bed and guiding me with her, fitting me against her body like we'd been shaped for this exact moment.
I don't know what happens next, but I want to find out. With you. Thank you so much for following today's story. Tell me in the comments which moment from Zoey and Justine's story was your favorite. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. See you next time, loves!